Okay, hey there boys and girls. Today we're doing a thing I like to call a Kets Modith Extra. We realized we did a pretty bad job at explaining a little bit about the characters when we first started this show, and can't really blame us for this. We've been playing this party for 2 years now. Actually, our anniversary's coming up, so that's neat. But we kind of wanted to fill you in about things you may have missed or may not know about the characters. So we've got the majority of the party today. We're missing Anna, so we'll talk about her a little bit throughout here. So we're going to start with Ralkaya.
All right. So Ralkaya is a Kenku, and a Kenku is an avian-like humanoid, but they don't have wings, and they don't have their own voice, so they speak through mimicry, and sometimes through forgery.
Yeah, and they're raven people, right?
Crows.
Crow people. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Ralkaya, specifically, he has a pet bird who is referred to as his asshole. He's a toucan who is also an alcoholic.
Thank you, Paige.
He frequently sends letters to his family. He mentions dragon roar a lot. That was his first encounter with the wyvern. His description. He has fire dragon scale gauntlets, so that's cool.
That's pretty neat.
It's dope.
He wears a long black overcoat, which is a cloak of misty step.
He almost looks like a flasher.
He's got a utility belt, which is cool. That's his pants.
He definitely he definitely looks like a flasher.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. He has a glider, which, because he doesn't have wings, that's how he flies. He has purple worm hide boots, which that's pretty cool. He slayed a purple worm.
With help.
With help, yeah.
He also rode that
that's
purple
cool.
one before it died.
Yeah, he did
He
ride that.
jumped
purple
onto
worm.
it, rode it, and punched it to
So
death.
he wrote it, but not in the sexual way.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are you like this?
I mean, I gotta take it there. It's my job.
That's fair.
It's about all I've got.
All right, cool. Now we're going to talk about Darkleer.
Hey guys, it's Jason. I play Darkleer. So Darkleer is a Drow. He's a Drow elf, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, they are the dark elves of the Dungeons & Dragons universe. They have ebony black skin, silver hair, and typically they have red eyes. They have a very brutal, rivalry with the surface elves, or the light-skinned elves that you normally think of. And as such, the Drow were forced underground, and they live in an area called the Underdark, which resides roughly anywhere from 5 to 20 miles underground. It's like a massive cavern system.
Yeah, it's real bad place.
Yeah, like monsters of your worst nightmares live there.
Lots
The
of
Drow
spiders.
are probably one of the worst things to encounter down there. They have a huge city down in the Underdark named Menzoberranzan, which is the largest city, and that's actually where Darkleer's from. In regards to the Drow, everything that they do revolves around personal gain, and their entire lives revolve around treachery and deceit and murder. And the reason, if you guys have noticed, that Darkleer is so paranoid about any newcomers or anyone who he's not had the chance to really test, it's because he's worried that someone is going to come in and kill him or make attempts on his party members' lives, because he did that. That was the thing that Darkleer did, was to actively hunt down and kill people in the Underdark. Darkleer, for what he looks like, he's a medium build. He's like 5'7". He has black skin, medium length silver hair, and red eyes. He wears a scale mail shirt and tall riding boots. He has his most emotionally attached item is his riding cloak, which instead of being like a regular cloak that splits down the middle, it starts on the left side and then it wraps around the back and clips again on the front of the left side, and it's held there by a raven skull brooch type deal that he got from a very good friend of his named Bjorn. And Darkleer has his two swords. He has Icing Death and Twinkle, which Twinkle lights up when enemies are near, and Icing Death does ice damage, and they're on his left and right hips. And then he also has a bow and quiver that he always has handy.
He's got his Drizzt swords.
Yeah,
Got
my
the
Drizzt
Drizzt
swords. Those are actual, like, Drizzt swords. That's what his are named.
Also, Darklayer's entire room is covered with muscly posters of Drizzt Riordan. That's why he doesn't let anyone in there.
That's not true.
Tell us the truth. Deliver us the truth.
That's the truth. Ignore Jace.
Okay, that's great. Moving on to Chingar here.
Hello, I'm Kason. I play Chingar, the Warforge. And a Warforge is basically a murder robot built for a war that happened many years ago. And they're basically just wood and metal constructs that do what murderers do. They kill people.
As you'll find out.
Oh,
And
well,
yes.
As
you
you've
make them sound like assassins. No, that like
They're more
like,
soldiers,
they're
I
bastions.
guess.
They're bastions.
they're
pretty
bastions.
much.
Yeah.
Without the Gatling gun, at least in
Yeah.
this campaign.
God.
And then that's they were just mass produced, so there were plenty of them, but most of them were destroyed. But Chingar is he's one of the few. Well, his body was recreated by a couple of wizards that were his old party members, and his eyes they're a flaring blue, in his everyday life, but when he rages, his eyes start to flare white, and in his mind, he's very young. He's only a year old at this point, but
Yeah, so he makes a lot of dumb decisions.
yes, that is one of the reasons.
Which is why Morin doesn't give him the option to have choices, because she's pretty sure they're going to be stupid.
Yep, and you know what? It's a good instinct to have.
That's also why he's Ralkai's best friend.
She also doesn't let Ralkai have decisions.
So, the arcane core that is somewhere in his chest area isn't quite new. It was reused, so he still has his he has flashbacks back to his murder days as one of them old warforges. He's 6'6". When he's not wearing his 6-inch stripper heels that he received as a gift from Morin.
Cha-ching.
And for his clothes he wears a daddy boy smock and has a picture of Bjorn's face on it, along with skeletal dragon wings on his back and a dragon skull on his head.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know who Bjorn is, don't worry, he's coming up. He's part of this.
I just want to interrupt. Bjorn's face looks like the laughing cow cheese, but it's Bjorn. Then he's like in the middle, like, ah ha ha.
Also, the skeletal dragon wings were taken from a real dragon and glued to his back with super glue.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
magically
it
glued.
was a disaster.
Yeah, Chingar is a disaster.
And
But we
that's
love him.
Chingar.
Okay, now we got Dante.
Hey, I'm Jack, the Dungeon Master. I also play Dante. Dante is a 7'7" human paladin. He is very tall and muscular and potentially well endowed, if rumors are true, because of a deal he made with some sort of demonic entity, which is also where he gets his paladin powers, quote unquote. He wears a long red leather jacket with chainmail stitched into it, so he can be fashionable as well protected. And he wears those piratey leather pants, big boots, open collar white shirt. He wears his black hair, which reaches down to about his shoulders or a little below his shoulder blades when he puts it up. He's very unorthodox in his fighting. He throws a lot of things, drops a lot of things if they're not useful, does a lot of things that will cause potential injuries if they're gonna work better than something else. In one of our recent campaigns, he used his shield because he uses a lot of enchanted shields to throw. He used it to teleport onto a giant blob monster, and because he couldn't run, he had broken legs. So he teleported onto this thing and then kind of just dropped once the attack was complete. So yeah, he's very chaotic, but has a heart of gold. He's a former pirate captain, very famous one at that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
Everyone
Captain
knows
Dante.
Captain Dante.
And his McMonster Dog, it's real.
Yeah. He's since kind of, stopped with that whole situation because of backstory reasons. And now he runs with Kets Modith. Yeah, I think that's about all I got.
All right, so now we're going to go into Professor Thrask Lucieran, Professor Lucy for short. He always goes by Professor. He actually went to college. He got his doctorate in engineering. He's not that smart. And dungeoneering. He worked hard for that, and so he never really lets anyone call him by anything less than Professor because he worked hard. He's not a smart individual, so he kind of just raged his way through it. That half-orc blood. His mama was an elf. His dad was a half-orc, and if he wasn't going to do what his dad did, he had to go and get an education, and so he graduated. But his parents weren't well off, so he's like, you know what? I'm going to take student loans. This is fine. And so to this day, he is outrunning serious student debt, and he has a serious fear of loan collectors, debt collectors. Which inspires a lot of his frugality and a lot of his fears in time. He's a real interesting guy. So he's always working to find his place, to make himself a place in this world, whether that's financially or just just as a person. He's a jack of many trades, but he's a real clean guy. I described what he looked like in episode 2, but to kind of revamp here. He wears a tricorn hat with a huge rainbow feather coming off of it. He's a very well-dressed man. He wears a light blue suit coat with patches on the elbows, similar colored slacks, an orange dress vest, and a nice light purple striped dress shirt. No tie. He's a very active man. He's got to keep that stuff ready to go. He has a very angular beard. He cuts it to a very fine point, very well trimmed. A nice curled mustache. He's got that bard look going on. And if you ever look at him, you've got to try not to be swayed by those bright blue eyes. And then finally, to finish off his ensemble here, I'm going to, just a brief story. Professor Thrask Lucieran, on a day when he was a young adventurer trying to pay back his student loans, he went and fought a young white dragon with some adventurers he knew. And one thing led to another, and this dragon kicked him in the face, broke his nose, and of course, as the looker he was, he didn't want to have that. And so to this day, in remembrance of that young dragon, he wears some nice white dragon scale boots, which are the pride and joy of his life.
He's so overt, he's covert. The debt collectors are never going to be like, hey, that looks like Thrask Lucieran, let's go get our money. They're like, no, that guy looks very ostentatious. There's no way he would dress like that.
No way
he has debts.
There's no way he has debts.
Yeah. But yeah, he just hoards his money, and he's not gonna let the debt collectors has it. All right, Morin.
All right, so Morin is a tiefling. I'm just gonna explain those really quick. Tieflings are pretty much just humans cursed with a demonic bloodline. A lot of them are, and they look like little devils, but no one really likes them, and they're usually distrusted. But people usually like Morin's because of another reason, and also her backstory in the book is she's a charlatan, and people like charlatans, so they're just beautifully conflicted when they see her. And like I said, they can be born or they can be made. Born, obviously, if two tieflings get jiggy with it, you know what I mean? And then made if a human makes a pact with a demon, like a legit demon. I don't think you can go to a tiefling and be like, hey, you're cool. Give me your tiefling trophy.
Tiefling.
I want to look like you.
I want to be just like you. And then I'm just gonna... Morin is like a crimson red color. She has all white eyes. She's 5'8", has tribal tattoos, but not 90s tribal.
She's much too nice for that.
Yeah, not 90s tribal.
More of like a
banish
from a
the thought.
legitimate
like
tribe.
a tribe.
Like an actual tribe that you'll learn more about later. She has long black hair that's normally up in a bun, eight-cut bangs, so like forehead bangs. And then she wears a white button-up that she always has buttoned up all the way with a really nice black skinny tie, a gold double-breasted vest, and some very nice black slacks. And she just wears her adventurer boots because she doesn't care if they get messed up. They cost her like a silver. And she also has a couple of necklaces that she just keeps tucked away, and some rings. And then little blurbs about Morin. She was once a very famous prostitute or a super high-end call girl. Like, she was making 10K an hour.
Yeah, and this is why we make jokes about Morin being promiscuous.
Because, like, she's not, but she was at one point, if you paid her enough money. You know what I'm saying? She had a parchment shop, which was fairly successful until she met the Adventure Boys. Grazd is literally her daddy. Like, that is her father. I'm not making that
Grazd
up.
is the demon lord of sexiness.
So it just adds to the pureness that is Morin. She has a pet mimic and a red dragon that are her children as well as pets. She has heels higher than your standards. Remember that. She loves trashy romance novels so much. Almost relationship with Asperia Sheriff Jesse James. So whenever I'm joking like she didn't have a dry spell, that's because she was off like mad screwing this guy. And then
Jesus.
I'm being honest. I'm laying it all out there. I like to think of her as the unofficial group mom. Like, she tries really hard. And then she really does care about everyone in the party. She just likes Darklear a little bit more.
Okay, so real quick, we don't have Janny here, we don't have Anna here, so I guess we're gonna do our best to just talk about her all together.
I thought Scott was gonna.
I never
kinda
got
take
anything from her.
Well, I mean, I know Anna really well.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take the lead on that?
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
You go for it, Jace.
Okay.
So, Darklear, the one who hates Anna the most, is gonna take the wheel here.
Yeah, boy. So Anna is played by Janny, who is one of my very, very good friends. Anna is a high elf, like a sub-race called a sun elf, so she has copper skin, very long, very voluminous red hair, and she's a ranger. She grew up in a small kind of military base type village that was a mix of high elves and dragonborn, where they were kind of experimenting and testing about poisons and basically creating like war chemicals and weapons of war, to my knowledge, something like that.
Yeah, they were a very tight-knit war tribe from my gathering, yeah.
So she does have a very, very strong history with martial training, and her village was destroyed by the Drow, on a Drow raid, and she was one of the few that actually got away, and as such, since her village was destroyed, she's been alone, and when she was first out on her own, she started becoming like, one with nature, and like started following the goddess Mialiki, the goddess of nature, and she found Solara, who you should be fairly familiar with. Solara, even though we forget about her sometimes, she is Anna's beast companion. She's a displacer beast.
Oh, and we just made a tableside reminder of Anna, a cool little displacer tag, if you will. So we'll be forgetting a lot less of Solara here.
Yeah.
Also, displacer beasts are like panthers, but with 6 legs and tentacles, and they put off an illusion that makes them look like they're about 2 feet to the left. Really, really irritating to fight. Really bad to run across.
Yeah, dangerous. Real dangerous.
Yeah. So the craziness that Anna has is just one of her unique perks. As I said, Anna kind of just wandered around alone for a while until she stumbled upon a port town. Well, not really a port town, Tealis, which is a pirate city in the middle of the ocean. Somehow she ended up there and met Dante, and then Dante dragged her into Kets Modith. And ever since then, her and Darklear have hated each other's guts.
Yeah, but secretly, we all get along. We all love Anna, no matter the fire that's thrown in and out of the party. Okay, so at this moment of getting to know your boys, if you only cared about the characters, you can do what you want. You can stop the video. But if you were interested on like, who's this NPC? Who's Marufi? Who's Morin? Who's this Bjorn they keep talking about? Stay tuned, because we're about to do an NPC lightning round where we're going to take a minute for each NPC just to talk about them and get you a little bit more up to date on who they are. So we're going to start over here.
With the Treant Woods.
With the Treant Woods.
I fucking hate them.
Including Ferrani, who you met in the first episode.
Including Ferrani. Ferrani's great. She's quality. She's the mom. They are stupid posh. Like, imagine the trashiest posh people you can, and then take it a step further. Like, that is who they are. They're horrible spring break college students. Like, that is the Treant Woods. They're pretty much the royal family of Asperia. They kind of run that show. They're blue elves, which is a bit different, but there they are. And they had a Rakshasa for a dad. He was bent on just messing up this city. Darkler messed it up first. We beat him to the punch.
Hey.
And we turned the Rakshasa to stone. And now he's in the garden at Casa de Modith.
And to explain one or two things, Asperia was super nice, lush,
Beautiful oasis.
Beautiful
oasis
oasis.
town.
Beautiful
And
oasis.
then when Darklear defeated the Rakshasa, he basically condemned it to being a nice, tasty desert wasteland. And also, blue elves are a subrace of elves that are tied very closely to the weave, the magic energy that wizards pull on when they use their magic.
I just want to also mention that, speaking of making Asperia a desert wasteland, the reason that it is that way is because there was a magic crystal in the Treant Woods house that was powering, which was basically giving life to the area. And what happened is that with the crystal, Darklear decided that it was more important to save the people of Asperia more than it was to, let the land flourish.
Yeah, but that's a complicated story that if you want to know more about, just keep listening. It'll come up. It was a very big decision for Darklear. Now we're going to talk about Marufi. Marufi is our very Middle Eastern wizard friend, very powerful wizard, but not the best constitution. Like he's real low vitality. We met him long time ago when we first started this party. He was just a random wizard who came in. He touched Darklear's butt, stole some of his money, and stole us a bunch of faulty magic items. And as time went on, he just became, just one of those quality characters we liked having around so much that he became a permanent member of Kets Modith of the party. He's not an active traveling member of the party, but he helps us with any magical issues, with any sales issues, and honestly, he just hangs around the keep. In the last arc, we actually almost lost him, so we have this renewed love for Marufi, our little wizard boy. Next.
Next is Gwendolyn, our fiery red-headed dwarven blacksmith. The party met her in Talus, started getting armor done by her, enchanted items, and just really enjoyed her work, really enjoyed her as a character, and paid her to come along with them, if I'm not mistaken. She recently had a small feud with Darklear. She was keeping secrets. She had a Mark of Lolth that she managed to acquire herself on accident. Darklear didn't know, but he didn't trust her. That's since been resolved. Everyone's very close again. Gwendolyn is a mystic. She has, through her bloodline, small psionic powers. She is one of the best blacksmiths and enchantresses in the world.
Okay, great. Next we're on to Pidge.
Oh yeah, so Pidge, he's a handful.
To say the least.
When we first met him, all we knew about him is that he was an expert ship tracker, and we were looking for a ship. So but what he wanted 300 platinum, which you'll figure out. He won't do anything unless you give him 300 platinum,
Which we never actually give to him.
yeah.
No.
So after everything was said and done, we technically kidnapped him. Just kind of took him along for the ride.
Yeah, we straight up kidnapped Pidge.
Yeah.
He's a stolen human.
Yep.
Well, half-orc. Stolen half-orc.
Yeah, stolen half-orc. At one point, we had him tied to the front of our ship.
For like maybe a minute.
Yeah. And then
We forgot about him.
he ended up pairing a purple worm. And currently, he is the captain of the guard at the keep.
Yeah, we gave him a job so he would stop complaining about money.
I just gave him a job because he was there.
Yeah.
Darklear
And we
tried
needed
to...
a guard. So.
Yeah, we did.
Alright, give us a little bit about Colwick. Let's talk about Colwick.
Yeah, you mean Morin?
Are we doing Morin or are we
Morin?
doing Colwick?
Who's got Colwick?
I've got Morin.
I didn't even know.
Alright, you're Colwick now.
I'll do Colwick. Do you want me to do?
Yeah, go
okay,
right now.
Colwick is our child wizard. He was the grandson of one of the blue elves who helped run Asperia. She recently passed away in our story.
Yeah, and it was a separate Blue Elf family from the Treant Woods. It was a rival family.
2 different families.
Yeah. Shortly before the Rakshasa incident, Kolwick's grandmother passed away, and him having nowhere to go, no relatives, no anyone, we decided to take him in to Kets Modith. So he lives at our keep now. He's an active member of his college that he goes to. He's a wizard. Pretty sure I mentioned that. And really, Morin has kind of taken over the job of mothering Kolwick, and the rest of us are kind of just there, and we just help him as best as we can.
Okay, now we got Morin Scheitweather, who you guys have a little bit of info about already, but we're going to really go in and clarify who he is.
Alright, Morin. Morin is, as I'm told, he's the first NPC that the party came into contact with.
Yeah, very first one we've ever met, like when this campaign started going.
Yeah.
He flies our ship, or what used to be our ship.
He used to fly our ship.
Used to fly our ship, yes. He doesn't speak common. He speaks Orthodox Swedish dwarf.
Yeah, which you have to be really drunk to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one really understands him.
No.
But yeah, we mainly just keep him around because he's a fun guy. He started trying to learn common, and it just irritates Darkleer to a high astral plane.
Yes. Darkleer just likes to hide in his room for the majority of any traveling they do on the ship.
Especially to urine.
Because of Morin.
Okay, now we're going to talk about Dendar. He's not the biggest NPC we have, but we talk about him enough. So when Kets Modith was getting starting out, we did this one shot where we were all on a game show, and Dante was riding this flying manta ray up towards these video cameras, and he managed to snatch one, which we'll explain that mess in future audio here. But he snatched the camera and looked into the camera. He's like, "Hey, sponsor us, send us help. We got you." And a patch came down from the sky along with a bunch of health potions, and this patch said Dendar's Condoms. And so Dendar used to run this big condom factory. And in recent times, in recent Asperia, Dendar has expanded into Dendar Incorporated. And now it's very hard to find a product where Dendar, this half-orc, high-economy businessman, doesn't have his foot into. Okay, that's majority of the major NPCs. Now we're going to take a little second longer to kind of talk about who Bjorn is. Jace here is going to take that away.
Bjorn is for me at least, he's a very special character. When Anthony, Jack, and I first started this campaign, it was Darkleer and Bjorn. I obviously played Darkleer, and Anthony played Bjorn. And Bjorn is a 7-foot-tall albino minotaur. One of his horns, he has those forward-facing horns, and one of them is broken off. Bjorn is a cleric of the Raven Queen, and she's not a very common deity. She's the goddess of winter and death. And what was really unique about Bjorn is that even though he worshipped this goddess, he was the life domain, and so he really emphasized the living life to your purpose, and that everyone has a course that they have to follow. And Bjorn and Darkleer were very, very, very close. There is no one in this world that Darkleer trusted more than Bjorn. Like, if anyone in the party currently asked Darkleer to jump off a cliff with them, he would have some serious hesitancies. But if Bjorn had done it, Darkleer wouldn't have even thought about it. Bjorn was also a wizard. He started working his way into more of the learned magics, and he really kind of excelled at it. Recently, however, Bjorn has left the party, and it was a tough time for all of those involved. What Bjorn was is that he was the father figure for this party, and when we first started, none of us had any idea what Dungeons & Dragons was or how to play it, and Anthony did. And so Anthony and Bjorn more stepped up to kind of show us this world and kind of teach us what we could expect and how to really grow and prosper here. And it just came to a time where Bjorn wasn't needed, and we didn't need a dad anymore. to kind of take care of us. And so Bjorn decided that he was going to go chase some new adventures and find those who were in need of him and follow that course that his life had taken. And as such, it has left a small rift in our party. Like I said, it has been super hard on Darkleer, and it kind of just buries deeper, digs that crevice deeper between Darkleer and being able to trust people.
Yeah.
But
And to kind of step in here as a Bjorn's player, it was definitely hard for us as players to see a character we played with for so long ago, but in the end we decided it was almost a necessity. And to fill in a hole, Chingar said that his parents were wizards that put him back together. Bjorn was one of those wizards. So when we talk about Chingar's dads, Bjorn, this big minotaur, was one of them, along with a special enchanter artificer named Herschel, all these guys, every NPC we've mentioned today, each one of our characters, you're going to learn more about in the future. And as we wrap up, we'd like to talk about a little promotion we've got going on. Jack, you want to take that?
NPC thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a promotion. I'm sure that we'll talk about it in every episode in the future, but just to really drive it home, we've got a promotion going where if you tweet about us, share us with your friends using the hashtag AdventureBoys with an I, we will look through all your tweets, your Facebook posts, your Tumblr posts, and we'll pick people out and we'll use a name that you give us to name an NPC. You can either give us a trait for the NPC, some sort of personality for them, or you can just give us a name and I'll use it on the fly, because I tend to forget to name NPCs. So it's good to have, some backup, a little bank of names.
Yeah, and we'll be super glad to use those. Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter. All right, thank you guys so much for listening. Tune into the next episode of the Adventure Boys this Tuesday morning. Anyone have anything else to add before we wrap up here?
Nope.
No.
All right, okay.
I love you.
Yes,
We
we
love
love
you.
you. We love you, boys.
We love you so much.
All right,
But not that much.
nice.